Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah, and we have, we're kind of babysitting tonight. So if you hear any squeals or any strange sounds, yeah that's what it is.
Yeah, we're babysitting for friends.
And we got the Georgia Guidestones. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Yeah. Okay. So moving on.
Moving forward, Canada invokes emergency powers to deal with trucker protest.
Yes, these powers last used by his father, and we're talking about Justin Trudeau's father, to battle Quebec separatists back in 1970. He says, this is Trudeau, this is not a peaceful protest. He added that illegal blockades have been disrupting the lives of too many Canadians. After consulting premiers, government, and opposition, the federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act, Trudeau said. These measures will be time-limited, geographically targeted, as well as reasonable and proportionate to the threats they are meant to address. It does not involve calling in the military or suspending fundamental rights and freedoms. This is about keeping Canadians safe, protecting people's jobs, restoring confidence in institutions. We are reinforcing the principles. Sorry about that. I don't know. I was just looking at the little baby we're babysitting and, just started thinking about puppets and strings. Yeah. Values and institutions to keep Canadians free. Free. And, does that freedom involve personal choice? How does this work? How does this... Well, you guys tell us what you think.
Yeah, I mean, it's freedom in accordance to the controllers, what they think freedom is.
Yeah, and we see the Canadian Civil Liberties Association saying that the Emergencies Act can only be invoked when a situation seriously threatens the ability of the Government of Canada to preserve sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity of Canada, and when the situation cannot be effectively dealt with under any other law of Canada. So many people feel that it doesn't really apply at this point, but hey, he's still doing what he wants to do. And you see here, Trudeau regime now using terrorism laws to go after crypto and crowdfunding. Yeah, basically saying, again, we had, let's just listen.
We are announcing the following immediate actions. First, we are broadening the scope of Canada's anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules so that they cover crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use. These changes cover all forms of transactions, including digital assets, such as cryptocurrencies. The illegal blockades have highlighted the fact that crowdfunding platforms and some of the payment service providers they use are not fully captured under the Proceeds of Crime and Terrorist Financing Act. Our banks and financial institutions are already obligated to report to the Financial Transactions and Reports Analysis Centre of Canada, or FINTRAC. As of today, all crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use must register with FINTRAC, and they must report large and suspicious transactions to FINTRAC.
I gotta feel that if a whole lot of people started to band together and barter and trade, somehow they would make that illegal.
They would figure out a way to make it illegal. But, even though this is very disrupting for a lot of people, I think it's good to focus on the blessing. And the blessing is that people are starting to work together more and more and more. I love it.
I could just see it now. Mrs. Smith is appearing in court because she traded 6 apples for 2 dozen eggs.
And it should have been 14 eggs.
Well, you're not allowed to trade in the first place. You can only use what they tell you you can use. Again, it's all about control. And so let's listen to these guys.
Good afternoon. After the events of yesterday and the news released that the RCMP made arrests and come forward with, and the arrests resulted in long arm firearms, handguns, and protective equipment being unearthed, we as the Coots Convoy have decided that as a peaceful protest and to maintain that narrative, we will be rolling out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Please come out tonight, support us, eat our food, socialize with all of us. We want to wrap this up in a peaceful way, and we thank everybody for all their support, for their prayers, and we hope that we have started something that will have such wide-reaching effects that governments will continue to go back to the grassroots, listen to the constituents, and that these mandates, these restrictive mandates will soon be eliminated. Thank you.
Yeah, those guys, I don't know. To me, it may just be me, but I just don't see them as terrorists.
Oh, no, I don't either. I mean, seriously, their energy looks great.
But if there is an act of terrorism, it's when the New Zealand governmental officials play Barry Manilow and the Macarena to ward off protesters. You know, now you're breaking the Geneva Convention.
I know. I mean, that just puts everybody in a bad mood.
I heard that they used that in Guantanamo Bay.
I believe it.
Yeah. I mean, when the waterboarding didn't work, they pulled out Barry Manilow.
In the Macarena.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Whew, times are getting serious.
They are.
Well, it is looking very serious and very ominous over in the Ukraine. And at the same time, there's like such conflicting things going on. You know, you have Ukrainian authorities saying, no, we don't think they're going to invade us. And Russia's saying, no, we're not going to invade. And then you had the Ukrainian president saying, yeah, they're going to attack us on Wednesday. Yeah, right after bingo, they're coming.
You know, that would be a good timing, really.
Well, it wasn't the senior communities that I used to manage. You know, I mean, anything could happen after bingo.
You know, that's true. I've heard that.
So he clarifies this claim. He said he wasn't being literal. He said that, February 16th, well, when he said it will be the day of the attack, and he said, no, that's not literal, though. What? Yet, just look at what we see, as you see here, this headline. Russian units near Ukraine moved into attack positions, so says U.S. officials. Oh, before we look at all the military hardware. This is just really weird, okay? The Russians are coming. Santa Monica puts MiG-29 jet in Super Bowl promotional photo. Now, this was going to be about jets that were going to do a flyover. We're talking about the Super Bowl, right? Why is a MiG-29 being represented as ours? Mm-hmm. Or, I mean, did somebody do a fupa, or are they saying something? Are they saying Red Dawn? Or is this just a whoopsie? I don't know. I thought it was an F-16, or, thought it was one of ours. No, it's a MiG. And this is the second time it happened. The time before they put up an SU fighter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's really going on here? And so, this is out of Global Military Info. There is a lot of heavy-duty equipment that is moving, as we see this over here, off of Terror Alarm. And over here. She's just playing with the baby. That's why I was giggling, because she was bouncing him on the knees with the music. Watching all these tanks and all this military hardware, that's not a laughing matter. But we could get punch struck with the news, that's for sure. And this tweet says, I don't know what moving to attack positions looks like, but it might look kind of like this if I was a little bit suspicious. There's a lot going on. And people can feel it. As you see vehicles transporting short-range ballistic missiles, missile systems, Iskanders, moving closer to the border, and they do have the range to hit all of the Ukraine. And Russia is believed to have 100 battalion tactical groups near Ukraine's border, up from 83 last week. And we also have the U.S. advising all Americans to get out of Belarus now, immediately. And the Ukraine, to show how serious they are, this is how serious they are. They have a senior assault squad. It's not that they're experts, it's that they're seniors.
Of course they are. Who would it? I mean, you just can never leave them out. They're important and they might have good aim.
Well, Valentina, 79, she's not putting any glasses on. She's a sharpshooter.
I see that. She's pretty darn awesome.
Yeah, women and children as well. Is not this situation in this globe absolutely crazy? But the thing is that I think, again, consciousness is changing. There was somebody that made a comment, and we made a comment just about how our consciousness are expanding. And they just said, consciousness expanding? I'm out of here. I read it and I laughed. I'm like, oh, that just says it all.
It sure does. That's a good one.
It does. State Department orders destruction of computers and telephone systems. This is at the Kiev embassy. There was a Louisville mayoral candidate that was shot in an attempted assassination. It's getting crazy out there. Absolutely crazy. I was on a Twitter feed and I saw this one particular incident that was absolutely brutal where somebody in New York City, it was crowded and full of traffic and the cars were going 2 or 3 miles an hour. A guy walks in front of a car and the guy had plenty of time to stop. He didn't. He just drove into him. The guy behind him drove right over him. What is wrong here? It's just insane. Now, I got to wonder, I mean, they're driving like zombies out there.
Right. I mean, is it just the driving part or is everyone just simply turning into that zombie thing?
It's from the CDC. It's game day. Whether you're an athlete, a coach, or a fan, don't let a blood clot ruin your game. What? Jump, cheer, and stretch between plays and learn more about preventing blood clots.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen this until now, but, I don't know. Maybe they had this out at the Super Bowl 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago. I don't know. I haven't watched a Super Bowl in over a decade.
Yeah.
I can't stand to watch the halftime shows because truly they are so full of just
Rituals.
It's just creepy. It's so creepy. Texas is suing Facebook for hundreds of billions of dollars for abusing facial recognition tools. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could see the writing on the wall. Everything, as should be, is being revealed. It's revealing itself. Just some people are choosing to stick heads in the sand, but more and more people are waking up. Absolutely.
I'm glad they're waking up, but I can understand those that are not ready to see the truth yet. They're just not ready to face the issues that we really, really have. So I can understand that. But there will come a time when even those who are sticking their heads in the sand, they just won't be able to ignore it. And that time is not far away.
No, I don't think. How could you ignore it?
Well,
And this is part of consciousness expanding and just understanding things. Why? Because it's almost like, it's like at some of those institutions where people are given meds because, like Bellevue comes to mind and some of these other institutions. You're just kind of zombified. You're sleepwalking through life. Or you might be just so absorbed in things that you never see that something is a little off here. Well, now it's getting to be obvious that it's more than a little off.
Right. Well, people can ignore it because it's a very handy safety mechanism for your emotions. So if you can't handle certain things, the body or the mind has a way of just shutting it off.
So the Meridian ambassador to the UN raised the country's flag over an atoll in the Chagos archipelago. Well, what's so big deal about this? Because the UK still claims ownership of it. And yet, when you look at where it is, you could see it's off the coast of Madagascar. So, this is so far from the UK. And when we think about the colonialism that so has embroiled this planet for such a long period of time, people are waking up to the fact that some things are just wrong. What happened in the Americas with the indigenous people, that was just wrong. What happened with people being just captured in Africa, taken to the Americas to do slave labor, that's wrong. We're catching on. More and more people are catching on to, some things being just wrong. And everybody deserves a chance to be free. Everybody should be free. And so the mega drought in the West is officially the worst in at least 1,200 years and not really improving. We have another meteor, fireball, ship, whatever it is. This was over Alaska and other states, actually 32 reports seen over Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, New Mexico, Oklahoma, South Dakota, and Texas. So guys, this wild, crazy ride we're on, it feels like there are some things that are going to start to really pop off. As always, we need to be as prepared as possible and take care of the little ones.
Yes, don't forget your pets.
Your pets and, also your children.
The little ones, yes.
Everyone. And the elderly too. If we did lose power, if we did lose the grid for a prolonged period of time, so many people, as we've seen studies saying you'd lose 90% of the population. Just because we can't handle it now. And, well, we're not the same as people that were roughing it in the Middle Ages.
Well, convenience is now being used as more of a weapon rather than a tool because they have everybody trained to understand that they can just go to the store and pick up whatever they need.
And immune systems are being attacked.
Mm-hmm. And they sure are.
From every angle. So, again, be as prepared as you can, spiritually as well as physically. We want to thank our Patreons again. We couldn't do it without your support over there. Also on Ko-Fi, and also all those that have been supporting medicinal foods as well. Use the coupon code EEA. Get a discount off the order. It does support the channel. Lots of ways here to boost your immune system and to detox.
There's a lot. Look at that, because awakening starts from within.
Absolutely. Much love. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.